Money magnet. How to use the laws of the universe to attract money into your life. By Omar Johnson. Introduction. Do you want more money? Do you dream of having the gorgeous house on the beach, going on exotic vacations whenever you want, driving that hot new sports car? Money makes the world go round. Without it, you just end up struggling to make ends meet, slaving away to get from one day to the next. And while many of us assume that the way to get more money is to work harder, the truth is much different. Money is a force, it is energy. The way to get more money is to learn how to attract money to you. In order to attract money to you, it's vital to first understand the laws of the universe. What are the laws of the universe? The law of gravity. The law of energy. These are the two most fundamental laws of the universe, but they are only one part of the larger equation. The universe is all about physics and geometry, about energy and mass, but it's also about vibration, action, cause and effect, compensation, attraction, relativity, rhythm. Some people subscribe to a philosophy that there are more laws, but when we're talking about attracting money, these are the keys. Learn about these, master them, and you'll begin attracting money to you like never before. And here you've been all this time slaving away the days, working weekends and nights and every minute possible, trying to scrape a few pennies together and still not getting anywhere in life. You haven't been able to reap the benefits of your hard work, have you? Soon you will. Soon you will be attracting money to you so powerfully you'll be able to do everything you've wanted to do, and more. To break it down in the simplest terms possible, there are two major, fundamental laws of the universe that all things must follow, whether they like it or not, plus 7 other laws that are crucial to attracting money. I want to make the clear distinction here about these 9 laws of the universe and why 2 are more important than the others, but that all 9 must be observed, understood, and followed in order to attract money into your life. The first 2 are immutable. No matter what you do, no matter what choices you make, you cannot avoid them. Gravity and energy are always there, and even if you choose to not change anything about you, they will remain a fundamental part of your existence and will effectively determine your position in the universe. The other 7 are tangible, and while you can change, alter them or not, they won't matter until you accept the first 2. Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's understand 2 basic factors first. Your life is made up of energy. You are a form of energy. There is positive and negative energy that surrounds you every minute of every day. The food that you consume and the liquids that you drink are also energy. That salad you had last week was energy. Your body converted that energy that existed within the salad into energy that your body used or could use. That was positive energy. If you eat more than you consume, in other words consuming more calories than you can burn in one day, all of that extra energy is being converted into fat cells. We can consider that negative energy. As far as gravitational forces is concerned, have you ever noticed that people who are outgoing and have a lot of other people that surround them tend to attract more attention to them? People who tend to be alone have more difficulty attracting new friends. This is the fundamental concept of gravity at work on a much smaller scale. This doesn't mean that the larger you are physically means that you will attract more people to you. It simply means that the greater your impression is upon other people, the more impact you will have on an even greater number of people. Okay, so that I don't confuse you too much right now in the introduction, I'll only say one more thing: no one controls your life but you. It is a fundamental fallacy that some people have and hold on to, in which they give others more credit or power than they deserve. If you have neighbors who have the big house, the nice car, and are always seeming to go on vacation while you struggle to make ends meet, don't blame them for their success. If you believe that your boss is getting in the way of a promotion, keeping you down, or not paying you what you deserve, then it is not the boss's fault for your predicament. You have to take control of your life, and in order to take control, you need to take full responsibility for it. The universe doesn't exist without complementary forces working with and against other forces. What separates you from planets or stars or galaxies in the universe is your free will. If you want to attract more money into your life, start by accepting the responsibility for all of your actions and knowing that you are in full control of just about everything that happens to you. You may not agree with this statement right now, but I believe by the end of this book you will. So let's get started and learn how you can use the laws of the universe to attract money into your life. Chapter 1, Your Story. What is the story of your life? Many people, when asked this question, will tend to rattle off a list of basic facts about their life and their history. When they were born, where they were born, their parents, what they did growing up, where they went to school, whether they were married or have kids, and so on. That's not the story of your life. That's the forensic accounting of your life. The story of your life is what makes you happiest. Your purpose. That is what sets you apart from anyone else in the world. Your story could be about the time when you were 15 and had just returned from a trip to the National Air and Space Museum and knew right then and there that you wanted to be an astronaut. Maybe in that moment you were so fascinated with astronomy and the study of the stars beyond our world that you could picture yourself working in that field and being completely enthralled every day for the rest of your life. Or maybe it was during your junior year in college when you met the woman of your dreams. You started dating and before long you both knew that this was the right relationship to be in. Maybe at that moment you could imagine the house with the white picket fence, 2 kids playing in the yard, and the vacations once a year to different destinations that all of you would love and cherish forever. But now, at this moment, you look around your life and think about what you missed out on. You think about one compromise after another, one decision that led you down this path, and the next decision that kept you on it until you reached this point where you are no longer happy with the way things are going. When you feel that your life could be better, when you feel that you deserve more than you have, it leads to an empty feeling inside. That doubt, that feeling of emptiness usually rests in a deep, recessed part of your mind, what some people would call the subconscious or unconscious part of your mind, or your soul speaking to you and telling you that you are meant to be doing something a little bit different. Does this mean that you have to change your career, change your family, move to a different place in the country or the world? No. It just means that you are right to question what you can do to help yourself feel whole and to have the success that you deserve in life. Why your best isn't working, you may be thinking to yourself that you're doing your best. After all, you get up in the morning, every morning, get dressed, trudge through an hour or more of rush hour traffic, get to work, slave through another 8, 10, or even 12-hour day. Fight through another 1 or 2 hours of rush hour traffic on the way home, spend time with your family, do more work in the evening before you go to bed, and then go to sleep so you can get up the next morning and do it all over again. What more could you do? If you think that you're doing your best, there's a difference between your best and your most efficient. Working through a job that you don't enjoy and doesn't reward you in the right way doesn't mean you're doing your best. You're doing what you likely feel is your responsibility, which you are expected to do. But if it isn't filling you monetarily, spiritually, or emotionally, then it isn't your best. Your best is a product of you taking charge of your life, understanding what it is that makes you happy, your story, and moving forward in that story with intent, vigor, and positive energy. Let me put it to you this way. If you honestly believe that you are doing your best but you aren't getting what you want in life, then you are not doing your best. There's a great line from the Sean Connery movie, The Rock, in which he states, "Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home with the prom queen." Now, I'm not saying you're a loser in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. In fact, you are the farthest thing from that because you're reading this book and are determined to get what you want and what you deserve out of life. You just need to know the tools to make it a reality. Whatever you can desire, you deserve. We often think that we are stuck with our lot in life. Whatever we have is all we are ever going to have, and no matter what we do, nothing will change it. That is why so many people play the lottery every week, spending tens of millions of dollars every single week in the hope of hitting the big one. But the truth is this: whatever you can desire, you deserve to have. If you want that $1 million mansion on oceanfront property, you deserve it. If you can honestly see yourself being happy in that kind of house, in that kind of environment, surrounded by the kind of people that you will be surrounded by with that kind of lifestyle, then you deserve it. If you desire a simple 3-bedroom house in a decent neighborhood with great neighbors, then you deserve it. If you desire to become the CEO of your company within 10 years, then you deserve it, as long as you can honestly see yourself in that position and taking responsibility and being a strong leader, then you deserve it. The common theme here that I'm talking about is not just desire, but to be honest with yourself about those desires. How many people have you heard say, "I wish I could win the lottery so I can do everything I want in life"? We've all thought that at one point or another in our lives, especially when we're frustrated with what we have or, more aptly, what we don't think we have. When you have a desire, you need to understand whether that desire is genuine or just the product of frustration. Most of us wouldn't know how to act or behave or think or feel if we were suddenly handed $100 million. Sure, you can think about the massive yacht or that big house and those exotic sports cars and all the other perks that go along with having a lot of money, but they are materialistic things that don't fill you up emotionally or spiritually. If you are unhappy with your life before you came into that kind of money, once the novelty of all of those things wears off, that emptiness will remain. And you will be a multimillionaire who still hasn't found his or her story. Success is a natural birthright. There are many people who think that they are born into the type of life they will always have. These people honestly believe that since they were born into poverty, for example, then they will always be poor. They also believe that those who were born into wealth will always be wealthy. The truth is that success is a natural birthright that is granted to everyone. Success is your birthright. You may have to work harder, study longer, and persevere longer than someone else to achieve that same level of success, but success is your right from the moment you were born. How to achieve that success and what you have to do to get it is your story. Your story is different than anyone else's story. But that doesn't change the fact that you have every right to success. You have the same right to success as Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Brad Pitt, and anyone else who you may look up to as a role model of success. The key is in defining what success means to you. The artist who paints landscapes may define success as being able to put a roof over his or her head and food on the table by selling a few paintings now and again. To another artist, success may be defined as being on the front page of the New York Times someday. The worst thing that you could do would be to measure your definition of success against someone else's. You define success for you, and no matter what that definition happens to be, it is your birthright to have it. Now let's see about getting it, and let's talk a little bit about money, attraction, and seeing the world through the eyes of the universe. Chapter 2, The Law of Vibration. I'm sure you've heard the saying, money is the root of all evil. But is it really? The reason why this saying has become so popular through the ages is because when some people have more money than they require to live the life they desire, it tends to corrupt them. The law of vibration states that everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency, which will affect energy. Your thoughts, feelings, and desires are unique to you. If you see money as a corrupting force, that's because your vibration deems it to be. If you place the needs of others ahead of your own, you are setting a particular vibration forth. Money in our society tends to beget power. When a person begins to acquire power, when they don't even understand their story, then they are still trying to fill a void within their life with even more money and power. They are altering their vibration in a negative manner. It is these individuals who give rise to that statement that money is the root of all evil. While money is not the root of all evil, it is also not the cause of any real happiness. As I mentioned in the last chapter, if you are not happy in your life at the moment, no amount of lottery winnings or a raise or a gift from a stranger is going to change that. But we see all these lottery winners cheering and laughing and being happy after they win millions of dollars. You're probably thinking right now. Sure, when somebody wins something they didn't earn, of course they are going to be excited. What you don't see is the aftermath. Did you know that more than 70% of all lottery winners have lost all of their winnings or are bankrupt within 10 years? Vibration patterns matter. Your vibration patterns and those around you need to be in alignment with your purpose, your story in this life. It also needs to be in alignment with the world around you. If you are content with your life, with what you have, suddenly you no longer feel the need for more money. So when you do get more money, it has a positive effect and impact on not just your life, but those around you. We spend so much of our lives wishing we had more, wishing we could have the life that we see celebrities live on TV, and trying to measure our existence against those unrealistic ideals that we forget to pay attention to our own lives. As a result, we tend to think that happiness is provided for us when we have money. Our vibrational patterns are out of alignment. Money is neutral. It is good and it isn't bad. It isn't righteous and it isn't evil. Money isn't energy, it isn't positive or negative. How you interpret money will give it the definition that others will apply to it. Your vibrational patterns regarding money will define it to you. In other words, if you covet money and believe that it will give you everything you want in life, then that is how others will see money through your existence and your use of it. You'll suddenly find yourself wondering who is your friend because of your money and who is a friend because of you. Developing a balance in your life is vital before you can begin attracting money into it. We are all connected to one another. The homeless child who hasn't eaten a decent meal in days is connected to us through our vibrations. How you see yourself fitting into this world is a vibration. Once you can balance the vibrations in your life, once you find that balance between what you currently have and the money you have, you'll bring your vibration in balance. When you do that, you'll move closer to attracting money into your life. Chapter 3: The Law of Compensation. The first thing you need to do right now is to accept money for what it is. Money is nothing more than the representation of value that is placed on material possessions. It is compensation for the work we do. We use money to buy food, clothing, houses, go on vacations, play sports, be entertained, and so much more. Having money provides you with the opportunities to do things and have things that you want in life. How you treat and view money will determine whether it is a positive force in your life or a negative one. Just remember, how you view money does not impact your ability to attract it to you. But it will impact the way you live your life and the way you view your success in the future. You attract every experience that you have. Have you ever felt at times that things happen to you beyond your control? If you're a normal human being, then you have. There has likely been more than just one instance in which you felt that the universe or God or some other force was just out to get you. When you are behind on your bills and struggling to make ends meet, you might have felt like you were never going to be able to get ahead financially. Suddenly your car breaks down and that is another expense you simply can't afford, but you can't get to work to make money without your car. While this may seem as though the universe is out to get you, let's look at this a little more rationally. You are struggling, maybe just out of college, and had to buy a second-hand car with a lot of miles on it. The car began making noises but you ignored it because it was running and you couldn't afford to pay for any repairs. But cars talk to us, they tell us what's wrong with them. You just ignored the conversation and then, when you could least afford it, it broke down and you immediately assumed that the universe or God is just out to get you. The law of compensation states that the effects of our deeds are generally rewarded. It also means that when you ignore things, you'll still be compensated, but in a negative way. While you may disagree with this assessment, you attracted that experience in this example. By ignoring the warning signs that your car was giving off, you invited the breakdown to happen at any time. You invited the compensation, though a negative one. The question is, would there have been an ideal time for it to break down? Most likely the answer would be no. No matter what time of day or week that the car broke down, you would still have the same feeling that the universe was against you. The truth is that we attract every experience to us through our actions and our thoughts. There is always something that you can do to minimize the potential for negative acts or actions against you. Perhaps you could have foregone cable TV for 6 months to save money to have had the car fixed. Maybe you could skip the ice cream 1 week and a 6-pack of beer the next. Your choices and your actions and your thoughts attract experiences to you, good or bad, positive or negative. You attract the compensation that you want and deserve. When you feel abundant, abundance finds you. When you are struggling to make ends meet, it is definitely a challenge to feel abundant. It's easier to feel as though the world is against you, that the universe is aligning to keep you down, or that you are always going to be stuck with whatever it is that you have at that moment. However, No matter what you have at any given time, it is more than enough to feel abundant. A homeless man who manages to find enough food day after day would be able to feel abundant for what he does have. There are millions of people, men, women, and children around the world who may eat one decent meal a week. Even they may feel abundant at times. When you feel abundant, abundance finds you. This is partly connected to the law of attraction, but it's about the law of compensation. When you feel abundant, when you believe you get what you deserve, then you tend to work more efficiently to get what you want. Working harder doesn't mean you'll be compensated properly. It just means you're expending more energy to get less than what you deserve. Compensation is based on efficiency. The more you work on refining this feeling of abundance, the more skilled you will become at retaining it, and the more skilled you will become at working toward proper and adequate compensation for your actions. You ignored the car. It compensated you. You developed an outline and wrote the best book on a particular topic on the market. You'll be compensated for it. Feeling abundant is a state of mind. So is attracting money to yourself. Compensation, then, is reliant upon action. Chapter 4, Law of Action. The law of action states that in order for things to happen, an action or series of actions must take place. We must engage in the actions that support our dreams, goals, and ambitions. When you take action, you will be compensated. It may not always be the compensation that you want, but you will be compensated. This means that you need to live life deliberately. Live life deliberately, not by default. When I tell you to live life deliberately, not by default, do you understand what that means? You might not. That's okay. Living by default means that you accept your situation and the circumstances that surround you as being a fact of life. Living by default means that you believe that there are other forces beyond your control that determine your level of success and happiness. Living life deliberately means that you are taking charge of it, taking action, as well as your happiness and fulfillment. Living life deliberately means that no one and no force outside of your own can dictate the level of success and happiness that you will experience throughout your life. If you want to be able to attract money to you and into your life, you need to fundamentally transform the concept of living life by default, that no matter what you do, your circumstance will never change, into living a life of deliberateness, being able to completely control every aspect of your life, happiness, and success. Take action. Living life deliberately is a positive thought process. Living life by default is a negative thought process. As I noted in the introduction to this book, the universe is all about energy, both positive and negative. There is only positive or negative energy. Since positive energy begets positive energy, and negative energy begets negative energy, when you live by default, when you surround yourself with negative thought processes, inaction, and negative energy, you are going to attract negative energy and negative results. When you surround yourself by positive energy, action, and positive thoughts, such as living life deliberately, you will attract positive energy and positive results to you, money. It is, fundamentally, that simple. Getting to that point, however, requires understanding a different thought process. Chapter 5, Law of Cause and Effect. The universe has very specific rules that must be followed in order to keep order. If there is something that goes against those laws, then everything else will fall apart. It is an example of perfection, yet it still has its own laws. Cause and effect. What scientists have long deemed to be black holes are highly concentrated sections of dense mass that absorb everything around them, even light. The speed of light is generally thought to be the fastest form in the universe. The fact that not even light can escape black holes or that dense kind of mass is amazing in and of itself. So, as the universe sees every action and every act around it as conforming to its set rules and laws, it simplifies many of the processes that we take for granted. It is important to begin to view the world around you through the eyes of the universe. That is, seeing everything around you in terms of gravitational force, the way that you draw or repel people and positive or negative events to you, as well as the movement and different forms of energy. Cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is defined as every action has a reaction. You ignored your car's pains and cries, so it died on you. You missed the deadline for that research paper and subsequently failed the class. You didn't bother to call your father on his birthday and you weren't invited to his next one. When you take action, you will find consequence. When you work hard, you get rewarded, though you may not feel as though you are rewarded properly. Feeling good about yourself is also an action. It's a choice. Feeling bad about yourself is also a choice. Accepting what has happened to you, what will happen to you, or what could happen to you is a matter of choice. If you are not happy with the way that you are feeling right now, the simple solution is to make a conscious choice to change the way you feel. Take action to change your circumstances and you will reap the benefits of the effect. Cause and effect. A lot of people measure their self-worth based on the money they have, the looks they have or don't have, where they live, the number of friends they have, and a host of other factors. But what are we measuring ourselves against? If you don't feel good about yourself, what is the measuring stick by which you are making that assumption? Is it any number of celebrities that you see on TV? Is it what your parents expected you to do or be in your life? Is it what your husband or wife tell you that you should do or be at this point in your life? Or is it based on the responsibilities that you feel are your burden and that you may or may not be living up to? Those causes have effects on you and your life. For most of us, we measure our self-worth based on a number of factors that include the aforementioned comparison to famous people in the news or in the entertainment media, what we expected our lives to be at this point when we were thinking about them when we were younger, and what others think we should be or how we perceive their impressions of where we should be at this point in our lives. Reshaping the way that you see yourself right now at this moment is a process. Yet, if you plan on attracting money into your life, it is an essential process that needs to begin right now. You are reacting to the effects that have been given by the causes in your life. By causes, I'm not referring to charity, but your actions or inactions that you've experienced so far. You can change the cause and effect relationship in your life by working harder or more efficiently and by building a positive network around you. Being positive is a choice and that is the cause. The effect is getting back what you want. We can start developing this cause by affirming our value. Often, meditative seminars will call this process affirmations. Telling yourself that you are worthy, telling yourself that you are a good person, telling yourself that you are doing good things right now are examples of affirmations. Cause. Do they work? For many people, they work well. However, it is not an easy process and it does take time. But you can choose to feel better no matter what is going on in your life at any given time. You could be 4 months behind on your mortgage, facing foreclosure, have a car repossessed, your phone ringing off the hook with collection agencies and creditors calling day and night, in a marriage in disarray, but you can still choose to feel better. Now, I think it is time to talk about your responsibilities, what they are, and what they mean. Chapter 6, Law of Relativity. What is the law of relativity? Essentially, this law states that we will each receive a set of tests that we must accept and pass and that each one will provide us strength that is important in dealing with the challenges of life. It also states that our path should be compared in relative terms to someone else. In other words, our challenges are different than anyone else's, so comparing what you have or what you don't have with someone else is being untrue to your life and your story. No matter how bad things are in your life, there will always be someone who is in a worse position. At the core of the law of relativity is responsibility. What are your responsibilities? When you are asked that question, what is the first thing that pops into your mind? If you're like most people, you will likely think about the money that you have to earn at your job so that you can pay your bills to support your family, or, if you live alone, then the money that is needed to pay your bills, obligations, so that you don't end up having to deal with collections and breaking your word to creditors. This is the general idea behind what most people consider their responsibilities. However, what were your responsibilities when you were younger? When you were a teenager, you likely had chores to do at home, things that your parents wanted you to get done, such as cleaning the dishes after dinner, taking out the garbage, mowing the lawn, or doing your homework. Those are important, sure, but what about your responsibilities to yourself? What did you have to do for yourself? You see, your true responsibility is not to others, but to yourself. And it's all relative to your existence. This is often the toughest concept for many people to realize and accept. We have been trained through generations that our responsibilities are to family and friends first. But what about you? If you are simply going through the motions in life, trying to be responsible to other people rather than yourself, then you are going to end up feeling empty and hollow inside. That's not a positive solution or place for anyone to be in. Your actions and the things you get in return for your actions, cause and effect, are tangible. How they impact you and your life, on the other hand, are based on how you perceive them. Relativity. This does not mean you don't care for others. There's a major difference between responsibility, obligation, and caring. If you have a wife and children, then you certainly have an obligation to take care of them, if that is your role in the family structure. However, your responsibility is still to yourself. Doesn't make sense? Let's see if we can work on that now. What happens when you are happy, content, and everything is working out the way you planned in life? For most people, you continue to draw positive events into your life. But what happens when you don't have what you want? When you don't have the kind of job you want, when you drag yourself out of bed in the mornings just so that you can get to that job that you don't like, relative, trudge through the day all in the name of making money, relative, so that you can pay the bills for you and your family? In most cases, you end up feeling depressed, relative, that your life is not what you hoped it would be, relative, and you began looking for unhealthy alternatives to try and fill that void that you're experiencing in your life at that point in time. Your responsibility is, first and foremost, to yourself. As I mentioned, success is a birthright, not something that is for only the chosen few but is available for everyone. You have passion in your life? There are things that you always wanted to do with your life, whether it is career-oriented, vacation, hobby, sports, or anything else. The problem is that when you start to work and start to take on the responsibilities of family, which are really not responsibilities but obligations, and there is a big difference between the two, you begin to make a sacrifice, a compromise, and then one turns into two, turns into three, and before you know it you have strayed so far away from what you wanted in life that you feel unfulfilled and unhappy. This isn't meant to be a depressing point. It is, however, meant to instill in you the idea that your responsibility should be to yourself first so that you fulfill your purpose in this life. The law of relativity states that your perceptions, or what you deem to be important in life, or what you feel are your responsibilities, are only relative based on other situations. You likely measure your success or position in life based on your parents or a sibling or neighbors or friends. Your success is only relative to you. No one else. Begin to accept that each challenge you face in life is delivered and meant to teach you an important lesson, but that your tests are different than others, and you will begin to face those challenges with newfound vigor and hope. Chapter 7, Law of Rhythm. Everything moves in the universe. Nothing actually stays still. Even though you may not feel as though you are moving right now, the Earth is. The Earth is moving around the Sun. The Sun is moving around our galaxy, the Milky Way, and our galaxy is moving through the vast expanse of space. The rhythms that are created by movement are responsible for seasons, development, and patterns. Everything is cyclical. That is the law of rhythm. The universe and responsibility. Everything in the universe has a responsibility to itself. The moon does not have any responsibility to the Earth. The Sun has no responsibility whatsoever to the Earth. Each body, each collection of mass and energy in the universe has a responsibility to one thing and one thing only, itself. When these bodies and masses of energy fulfill that obligation, fulfill that responsibility properly, everything works in perfect order. That is because they move to their own, predictable and reliable rhythm. We look up in the sky at night and see the moon. Most of us know that the moon revolves around the Earth and draws water by its gravity, and that creates tides. It is this tidal motion, It is the arised that helped life grow and flourish on this planet. However, the moon is slowing down. Someday it will no longer circle the Earth but will actually become stationary, only visible in one place on the Earth. What happens after that is a mystery and won't happen for many, many millions of years, but the point I'm trying to make is that the moon is not responsible for the Earth's survival or for life to flourish on this planet. Its rhythm happens to help create life on Earth. When you take responsibility for yourself and your life and what your purpose is in this life, everything else will fall into place, including successfully taking care of your other obligations. When you develop the right rhythm in your life, wonderful things begin to take shape. However, most of us aren't in rhythm, always focusing on the wrong things, the responsibilities we feel are ours, the sacrifices we've made, what our neighbors have that we don't have. This all leads to rhythmic discourse and lead us off our path. While the universe doesn't really care, it is only going to compensate you based on its laws. Chapter 8, Law of Attraction. I'm going to give you a line that may not make sense at all. When things get better, they get better. Have you ever noticed that when things are going good in your life, good things continue to happen? Or, at this moment in your life, maybe you feel things aren't going quite as well as you would like them to, and if so, you probably noticed that the pattern continues and things continue to go bad. The moment that things begin to get better for you, do you stop and wait for the bad things to come into your life again? Or do you appreciate that things are getting better, bask in that feeling, and notice that good things continue to happen? Most of us who go through tough times for long enough will expect bad things to happen even if things start to get better. This is a negative thought process that deliberately alters the positive energy entering our lives to become negative once again. You attract the energy you put forth. The law of attraction states that our thoughts, feelings, actions, and the words we choose all work toward attracting the kind of people and things that we deserve in our life. If you are not attracting good things to you, first take a good, long, hard look at what you've been doing in your life to this point. Are you working efficiently? Do you tend to be a positive person? Hopeful? Happy? Excited about life? Or do you feel down about yourself, feel that you're in a dead-end job with no hope? Do you put people down in order to help yourself feel good about you? How you are and how you act directly attract what you deserve in life. This doesn't mean that if you have bad things happening to you right now that you deserve them, but that you've called them to you. You set out your energy to attract those negative things to you. Have you ever noticed that well-groomed, handsome individuals tend to attract well-groomed, handsome individuals in the dating world? Have you also noticed that relatively average men or women sometimes seem to be with drop-dead gorgeous partners and you can't understand why? Just because you're not good-looking doesn't mean you can't attract people to you. Remember, the law of attraction is about your thoughts, actions, and the things you say to others. What you put out into the universe is what you get back. You have to learn how to transform negative thoughts or aspects of your life into positive ones so that you can take full advantage of the law of attraction. Now, in order to fully understand what it is that I'm talking about and how you can really attract money into your life by using the laws of the universe, let's get into the nitty-gritty of energy. Chapter 9, The Laws of Energy and Gravity. As I noted in the introduction of this book, while there are several laws of the universe that affect us and what we have in life, there are two laws that can never be broken or altered. We must understand them if we are to figure out how to attract money into our lives. The first deals with gravity. The more mass, the denser the mass of any object in the universe, the more gravitational pull it will have on other objects around it. That is why if we were to land on Jupiter, with its sheer size and mass, we would be crushed down to the size of a dime within an instant. The gravity on Jupiter is that strong. It is also why when man landed on the moon in the 1960s, he bounced more than walked along the surface. The moon is much smaller than Earth and therefore has less mass, so its gravitational force is significantly lower than what we experience here on Earth. The next law has to do with energy. All energy in the universe is constant. Whatever energy exists in the universe, that is all there has ever been and that is all there will ever be. Energy simply changes form. When you eat, your body is taking that nourishment and converting it to usable energy, calories. When you fill up your car with gas and drive down the highway, your car's engine is converting that fuel into energy that propels the vehicle down the road. The more energy that you have in the day, the more you can get done. But of course, there are limits to how much energy your body can consume and produce in any given time frame. Now, as far as energy is concerned, there are two forms of it, positive and negative. I've been talking about it on and off throughout this book so far. Everywhere you look there is positive or negative energy. If you look at the schematic of an electrical outlet or line in any home, you will notice that there is a plus symbol, plus, and the minus symbol, dash. The plus symbol obviously represents positive energy, the minus symbol represents negative energy. If you didn't have positive and negative energy running through the conductive lines in your home, nothing that relies on electricity will operate. Even the batteries that you have in the computer or electronic device you are using right now has positive and negative polarization. It is this relationship between the two that allow electricity to power these electronic devices that we rely on every day. Now, let's talk quickly about magnetics. You learned in grade school that positive magnetic forces repel positive magnetic forces. You also learned that a negative repels a negative when it comes to magnetics. However, in the world of the universe, positive energy attracts positive energy in the same way that negative energy attracts negative energy. The universe responds to your energy when you are feeling positive. When you feel that things are working out in your life, you've probably noticed that other things continue to go well for you. Sometimes they don't, but how you react to them and how you think about them determines what happens next. When you're feeling down and depressed, when you're feeling that nothing is going to work out for you, more often than not they don't. The universe responds to the energy that you put out into it. When you put out negative energy, negative thoughts, then you are calling on negative energy to surround you and come back to you. That is what all those New Age self-help affirmations are all about. They work because they impart positive energy from within you out into the universe, and when that happens, positive energy is drawn to it and subsequently to you. It is important to note though, that just because you say something doesn't mean that it is putting out positive energy. You could say something like, I am strong, I am powerful, good things will happen to me, and still receive negative energy back. Because, if you don't actually believe what you are saying, your body and mind are actually putting out negative energy. You can't fake the type of energy that you emit any more than you could change the plus and dash symbols on a battery and fool the device you are trying to power. There is a great deal about the universe that scientists do not yet know and understand. There are forces that cannot be measured, cannot be detected, cannot be seen. Yet it is those forces that act on everything else and create order in a seemingly endless array of chaos, seeming chaos, but only because we don't yet understand it. Astrophysicists call this energy dark matter. So while I am talking about positive and negative energy, I'm not referring to the energy of the sun or of gravitational pulls, because those things are finite. An asteroid that is propelled from one spot in the universe to another will act in an extremely predictable manner. That is why astronomers can map known comets, asteroids, and other space debris with incredible accuracy. However, dark matter is an unpredictable force. I believe it is the essence of positive and negative energy, and it acts on forces that have some, even if limited, control over their existence. What I mean by that is our Earth does not really have any control over its existence. Therefore, positive or negative energy will not make any real impact. However, you and I have some limited control over our existence, and therefore positive and negative energy become essential to developing the kind of life that you want. Feeling good is a decision. If you want to feel good about yourself and your life, that is a decision that you get to make. The fact that you don't have the money you want with the job you want or the family you want at this moment in time is irrelevant. You can still feel good about yourself. Money reacts to energy. Yet money is neutral. Money allows you to do things that you want and have experiences that fulfill your responsibilities to yourself, but it has no inherent power. When people first get money into their lives, That first paycheck or a lottery winning or a gift from family at graduation from high school or college, how does it make them feel? For most of us, it makes you feel very good. Money is positive energy. So in order to begin the process of attracting that positive energy to us, we have to begin surrounding ourselves with positive feelings and thoughts. That all begins with feeling good about ourselves no matter where we are in your life and no matter what is happening around us or to us. Begin right now by committing to feeling good about yourself. This does not mean that you have to feel good about your current situation, financial, relationship, or otherwise. It's simply setting up and transferring negative energy into positive. Feeling pain. Feeling pain is also a form of choice. Yes, if you hit your finger with that hammer it's going to hurt and it's going to hurt a lot. But have you ever noticed how some people get injured, whether it's physical or emotional injuries, and days and even weeks later they are still whining or grimacing or complaining about the pain? Pain is nothing more than an interpretation of nerve-ending signals that are transmitted to the brain and interpreted in the brain into the pain we feel. Emotional pain is the same thing. Pain is a negative form of energy. Yet it is essential in helping us to stay protected and safe. When you feel pain, it is your mind telling you that there is a threat to you, your health, and possibly even your life. However, when you allow the pain to linger longer than it should and to become a major focus in your life, then you are surrounding yourself with negative energy that is going to attract more pain to you. Feeling pain for others is called empathy, and there is nothing wrong with being empathetic toward others. The problem is that when you feel pain for others or yourself and allow it to fester and linger, you have, in effect, surrounded yourself with negative energy. As I've noted already, when that happens, negative energy will be attracted to you. Limit the duration of the pain that you feel at any given time. If you have a major physical injury, expect a reasonable amount of time in which to experience the pain. If the pain lingers, there are ways that you can work on controlling your thoughts and your mind to ignore the pain itself. And even if you cannot ignore the pain, you can ignore the feeling that pain gives you, which is negative energy. Once you begin to understand how positive and negative energy works in your life and how it attracts the same throughout the universe, then you can work on building a barrier of positive energy around yourself. When you do that, you will begin to experience a life-transforming sensation. When you begin to surround yourself with positive energy, you will be experiencing so many positive and wonderful things in your life. Eliminate the negative forces in your life. This may mean that you have to eliminate negative people from your life as well. You know who those people are. They are the ones who tell you that you can't do something. They are the ones who complain about everything. They are the people who gossip about neighbors, who wallow in their own misery, who tell you what you should be doing, or that you can never be happy when you're successful. This is one of the toughest challenges that you will face in learning how to attract money into your life. We get comfortable with people around us. We get comfortable with negative people surrounding us. Some of the negative people in our lives are the ones closest to us. It could be a spouse or parent or sibling or even your best friend. And while it can be tough to consider eliminating them from your life, there are steps you can take to change that negative into a positive without completely removing them from your life. 1. Talk to them. Discuss how you feel about their attitude toward you or toward themselves and how it affects you. Reason with them and ask them to consider keeping their negative thoughts and feelings to themselves. 2. Once you find your own positive forces in your life, see if you can work with them to convert their negative energy into positive. 3. Do not call back or respond to them when they call you or try to talk to you and are being negative. Do not engage them during these moments but rather engage them when they are being positive. This is a form of positive reinforcement that can encourage more positive behaviors on their part. If you are unable to change these negative processes in others in your life, then it may be time to walk away and remove them from your life. Sometimes the best decisions in life are honestly the toughest. So you will have to make the decision for yourself. What is more important to you, having success, being positive and attracting the positive energy you need and want in your life to you, or keeping negative people in your life and accepting that things will not likely improve very much for you moving forward? Only you can make the decision. Chapter 10, Playing the What If Game. I quickly want to talk about that world-famous What If game. I know you've played it. We all have. What if I had made a different decision after college? What if I hadn't gotten married when I did? What if I did get married to that person who seemed perfect for me back then? What if I had taken that other job offer when I had the chance? What if I listened to my parents when I was younger? What if I won the lottery? What if is a question that surrounds itself with negative energy. It is a question whose underlying foundation is based on you not being happy or content with the way things are. The what if question removes the power to change your life from yourself and puts it out on others. It is time to stop asking that question. The only time that it is appropriate or fine to ask what if would be if you are looking toward the future with optimism and hope and wondering what might happen if you choose path A or path B. It is easy to get lured into the trap of the what if game. You have now been granted formal permission to stop playing that game. If you have a habit of asking what if for so many circumstances in your life, work on correcting it when the question begins to pop up in your head. Anytime that you find yourself thinking about a what-if scenario, especially when it has to do with your past and mistakes that you made then, stop them immediately. Instead, convert them to positive energy and thoughts. What can I do moving forward to? If I make such and such a decision now, how will it positively affect my life in the future? What do I really want to do with my life as far as a career is concerned? If I do this now, what will my life look like in 5 years? In 10 years? In 20 years? And is that something I really want? The what if is a destructive question based on negative energy that attracts negative energy. Get rid of it. Wash your hands clean of it and let's move on to attracting money. Chapter 11, Attracting Money. Alright, you jumped to this chapter from the table of contents and skipped everything else so far, right? If so, I highly recommend you go back and start the introduction and work your way here. There are no shortcuts in life. Stephen Covey, in his world-famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, hammers this basic principle home. If you are looking for the shortcut to attracting money into your life, even if you manage to do it, it won't last long and it won't be a positive experience. So if you happen to jump right here to this chapter about attracting money and you're unwilling to go back and read the rest of it, that's fine. That's your choice. But it's a shortcut and shortcuts are based in negative energy. That is all I will say about that, so let's move on. Attracting money to you is something that you may have felt was impossible before today. Okay, you picked up this book so you kind of had an idea that it is possible to attract money to you, but no matter what you did, you just couldn't figure out how. We've learned about gravitational forces in the universe as well as positive and negative energy. We've learned about other laws of the universe, too. So let's put those laws to work for you now and get money flowing into your life. An action doesn't pay off if you plan on sitting back and collecting money. All I can say is, good luck. While we have developed a society that breeds thoughts of collecting government handouts without having to earn it, that's not how the universe works. Sure, you can get away with it for a while, but the universe has a nasty habit of balancing out its unbalanced forces. If you don't plan to do much to earn money, then you won't attract money to you. And you won't be happy with your life. Your action is like gravitational forces. The more action you take, the stronger your force of gravity. When you build up your gravitational forces, you begin to attract money to you. This may seem to be the most obvious statement I could make about being able to attract money, but you're thinking about it in terms of earning money. There is a major difference between earning and attracting money. Earning money is what you do when you head off to that job you may complain about half the time you're doing it. Attracting money is a process, a way of life, a manner of thinking and of acting. When you take action, you build a positive reservoir of energy around you. When you do that, you begin to attract positive things in your life. An action simply doesn't pay off. You can sit around thinking positive thoughts, saying to yourself, I am strong, I am good, I am a positive force in the universe and mean it, but unless you also take action, then you won't attract the kind of money that you want in your life. Find vibrational balance. New Age gurus like to talk about vibrations, law of vibration, that we emit every moment of our lives. It is these vibrations that emit positive or negative energy. And just like the electrical outlets in your home or office, or even on a battery, it is necessary to have both positive and negative energy in your life. This doesn't mean that you should be feeling bad about things, or not liking things, or that you'll never be happy, etc., etc. It means that there are certain negative forces that are necessary in life. When you walk up to the edge of a cliff, you should be wary about getting too close. You don't drive recklessly down the highway when you have a family because you know that you want to go home to them at the end of the day. These are negative energy forces and they are meant to protect you. It is essential that you find the right balance between the positive and negative forces in your life. The right balance between protecting yourself and going after what you want in life and knowing what you deserve. This is what is known as your vibrational balance. If you need to find your vibrational balance, you may need to pick up one of those New Age books or guides to help you along that path. Money doesn't make happiness. In order to be able to successfully attract money into your life, you need to accept the fact that money does not make you happy. If you are expecting that more money in your life is going to make you happy, then you are going to be bitterly disappointed. Money can certainly make things easier in your life. No longer having the stress of worrying about how you are going to pay your bills, or living paycheck to paycheck is certainly a positive aspect of having money in your life. However, money is not going to make you happy if you are not happy with your life now. If you are not happy working at your job, getting a raise isn't going to change much. Most of us have had the experience where we were working at a job that we didn't like, but when we got a raise we were happy and more motivated to do the job better for a while. But what happened after a few weeks passed with that new paycheck? Most likely you began to drift back into those original thoughts about how you didn't like the job. It was a dead-end career opportunity, and you couldn't wait to get out of it. When you accept the fact that money will not make you happy, you can step away from the desire for more money because you think it will make you happy. Thinking that money is going to be the answer to your unhappiness is a negative thought process. It is the quintessential what if? Question. It is simply a fallacy that some people have created that money equals happiness. The heart of the truth is that it doesn't. Needing money won't attract it. In the same vein, the need for money is not going to attract it to you. This should be relatively obvious to most of us because at some point in your life or another you needed money. If you need money, you actually need a solution to a problem that you're facing right now. What do you need money for? Is it for bills? Do you think that you don't have enough to put food on the table for yourself or your family? If so, then you need to think about where your money actually goes. Most of you will say, I have a mortgage, car payments, utility bills to pay for, 2 kids, a commute that takes gas, a spouse who has expenses, credit card debts, vacations to pay for, and so on and so forth. That's fine. The question is, what do you really need in your life? Do you have cable television with 150 channels in HD? Do you have a high-tech smartphone that will cost you $130 a month every month when a regular cell phone would do? Do you have a landline home phone you barely ever use because you have a cell phone? Did you take out a 5-year car loan recently even though the car you had before was running perfectly fine and was fully paid off? Those aren't things that you need. Those are things that you want. The problem is that today's society has made it seem like those are necessities. But if we only look back a couple of generations to our grandparents or great-grandparents and the way that they lived, you will see a much different perspective on need and want. Those generations of families worked hard, saved their money, and rarely went out to eat and considered themselves lucky to be able to afford to go to the movies once a year. They didn't complain because they understood the difference between need and want, and sometimes just because you want something doesn't mean that you need it. Just because you need money isn't going to attract it to you. Why being poor doesn't always feel poor? Have you ever noticed how some people, even those who have almost nothing and are struggling every day to make ends meet, still seem to be the happiest people on earth? There are millions of people living in poverty around the world who wouldn't trade their families, their loved ones, or what they have for the abundance that another family has. Sure, they would probably enjoy not having to struggle so much, but they have found the true meaning of happiness and realize that money doesn't bring that into their lives. People who are poor don't always feel poor because they don't measure success or happiness by how much money they have or what they lack. Stop measuring your happiness or your position in life based on money. For when you do this, you are drawing negative energy into the equation. It is that negative energy that repels money rather than attracting it to you. Why envy is a distraction? When you envy others, you are focusing on them rather than on what you should be focusing on, which is you. Envy is a negative force in life. It is rooted in the general concept that you are not happy with yourself or what you have. You don't feel that you have what you deserve and either wish that you had what someone else has, or don't feel as though they deserve what they have, either. You need to let go of envy because that is completely, 100% rooted in negative, harmful energy. This doesn't mean that you have to cheer for others' success, but avoid the pitfalls of envy as much as you can. We are human beings, though, and sometimes people tend to be envious by nature. If that describes you, simply retrain your nature to avoid this negative force in life. What about talent? Skill? What about talent and skill? Do these have any bearing on your ability to attract money? Yes and no. Talent is often a misconception. People think that talent is a God-given gift or something that you were born with. But in reality, talent is nothing more than an accumulation of skill through dedication and hard work. This goes back to the first point of this chapter, in which inaction does not pay off. The harder you work at something, the better you will become at it. The better you become at something, the more skill you develop. The more skill you develop, the more talented you become. It is essentially that simple. So the more talented you become, the more valuable your skills become to others. When that happens, your monetary value to a company or to customers increases. So the harder you work, the more action you take in life, the more you will attract money to your life. The key then is being able to accept your true value. Many people undervalue their talents and skills. When you undervalue those talents and skills, you are surrounding yourself with negative energy and therefore repelling money from your life. The same holds true when you overvalue your skills and talents. While you may earn more money for a while, if you overvalue yourself and those important skills and talents, eventually people will discover that and they will turn elsewhere to seek out the talents and skills that you offer from somebody else. It's important to find the right balance, vibration, of value for your talents and skills. When you know what your true talents and skills are, you can attract the appropriate money into your life. If you want more money, go out, take action, and work at developing your talents and skills to improve them and make them more valuable in the long run. Others who didn't earn their money. What about all those people who didn't earn the money? I could write an entire book about the different types of people who didn't actually earn their money. This could be people who gained it through an inheritance, people who married into money, people who sued companies and others for frivolous cases, people who garnered favors from others in industry or government to get a job in which they don't work or get paid far more than the services they provide are worth. What they get isn't any of your concern. That is the root of envy. Is it fair? No, of course not. But unless there is something that you can do about it in a positive force or manner, and unless it directly affects your life, then any action you take about it or any thought you give toward it is negative energy. It essentially distracts you from what you need to be doing to attract money to you. Even if you are successful in taking money away from people who didn't earn it, that doesn't mean you were going to attract that money to yourself. It is simply going to go somewhere else. Or to someone else. Be positive, stay true to yourself, and take action. The money will come to you. Chapter 12, Pulling it all together. Now that you understand how the laws of the universe have the potential to attract money into your life, what are you going to do about it? This is where you need to begin to pull it all together. So how do you do that? The first thing is to keep going through this book and focusing on the points I've made here and how they affect your life directly. The first step is to determine where all the negative energy in your life resides. Are you envious of others? Are you unhappy with what you are doing to earn money right now? What would you rather be doing if you had a choice? Look at all of the what-if questions you have posed in your life for the past several years. Do they still linger within you now? If so, get rid of them. Anytime you find yourself asking the what-if questions, stop and convert them into a positive force. What if I had made a different career choice 20 years ago? Convert that to, what can I do so that I am in a career I love? What if I had moved to such and such a place when I had the opportunity? Convert that to, do I still want to move now? What if I had worked for that other company that wanted to hire me 10 years ago? Convert that to, where will I be in 10 years from now if nothing changes? Where will I be in 10 years if I make a change now? Will I be happy? The second step is to look around you if you're struggling financially and determine what expenses are not really necessities. What can you live without? When you can do without the non-necessity items, you will find true happiness. When you find true happiness, you are not trying to fulfill your life with materialistic items. When you have found true happiness, you have positive energy surrounding you. The third step is to focus on being positive, no matter what is happening in your life at this moment. When you're happy, when you smile, you become a gravitational force that attracts positive people to you. When you attract positive people to you and into your life, you will attract money. Now go out there and make the necessary changes and begin to attract money into your life.